is absolute dynamite. And boom, it goes.
And boom, the layout goes. Slusta and Decran are on the move. To Decran!
Hello and welcome to this second round game in the women's division here at London Invite. We have the Stingrays, which is a U24 team from Australia, matching up against Spice, one of the UK's own, previously a Midlands team, now a London team, relocated this season to have a London base, and we're very excited to bring you this game. I'm Rachel Douglas. I'm here in the booth, not with Tig, unfortunately. He was drawn away by the promise of being able to commentate on doubling gravity. I'm here with Marius Hutchison, who's newish to the commentary game, and I think excited to be getting stuck in.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Doug. I've only done one game before, and it was on this exact pitch, as we see the first pull go up. Looking forward to it. Just conditions-wise, if you're watching on screen, the wind's directly behind the camera as we're looking at it, so it's very much going towards the clubhouse. Fairly natural the first pull gravitates towards that side.
Yeah, we've seen the wind be quite disruptive so far in the games. Each of these teams will have already played once today, but I think both on pitches that were facing the opposite direction, they're now going across wind.
Yeah, actually quite a change to get used to, because pitches 2, 3 and 4 all facing upwind, downwind. Quick turn from the Aussies, trying to get a reset handler movement going. Lovely grab on the far sideline for a quick huck. Yeah, first point, actually statistically the one with the most turnovers in most games, and I think some of that comes down to going from a warm-up environment straight into an in-game environment, something a lot of teams sort of need to learn from. But here we are with Spice on the disc again, working it up the sideline really well. Bang! Huck's gone up. And there's our first goal. Was that Gibson to Gibson?
Yeah, well, definitely Gibson reception. Not sure I saw who threw it on the far sideline. Great defense from Symington down in that far end zone to make sure that they came away with it. Seems like quite an intentional start from both, maybe some execution errors, but really kind of gunning for it when you can see a big throw on that far sideline. And Gibson just doing really well to read that, able to kind of turn and position herself to be receiving it front on. I think the defense maybe playing the person a little bit more than the disc. Couldn't get eyes on it, but a good effort nonetheless.
And I don't think in conditions like this that it's necessarily a bad idea to be sort of shooting for those goals right off the bat, because you know that you are likely to get some turns back. So if you have a good long game and you can get cutters downfield in isolation, then actually, you know, if you're going to get 7 out of 10 of those, I think you'd take those odds.
Yeah, a couple of turns there, but that was just a hold, if memory serves me correctly. Casting my mind all the way back to that pull. So yeah, Spice doing really well just to kind of hold it together. Symington getting that turn back after an overthrow. And Stingrays kind of coming, I think, like the confidence, right? You can see that Spice have made a couple errors. You've got a couple turns. Didn't manage to secure it, but it's like a positive start for the D-line to have already done a job. They're just going to have to kind of keep pushing forwards.
Perfect. Here we have it. Second pull right to left. Aussies have got a bit of time before Spice are on them, and they've come out of that initial vert set really nicely. Great backup on the catch. And to the far side, 4 players underneath it. Let's just see if they can pop this in. And it's gone to the defender, unfortunately. Spice with a chance for the first break of the game.
Oh, lots of traffic, quite messy in both attempts there. Give it straight back to the Stingrays.
Perfect. Resetting the stall count, back in the middle. We've got a handler in space on this side. See if they can jam it in. Lovely around break in these conditions. That's beautiful to an open receiver on the break side. Thank you very much.
That was a gorgeous throw from Thea Osmond to Maya Osmond, who, you know, I haven't seen the family truly, but potentially some relation to the Osmond siblings, potentially, I'm sure. But yeah, that break from Thea, really gorgeous. And just really opens things up. We've seen a swing across the back. It's like sort of being a bit cautious. There seemed like there was a bit of a mess in the end zone, and rather than trying to jam something through, just taking their time to swing the disc and then attack from a different angle. Beautiful play from Stingrays, and nice to clean it up. The couple of quick turns that we had before that felt there was lots of people in the space. They were just sort of both sides rushing a little bit and squandered opportunities, and then getting the disc back again, Stingrays deciding to really do it right this time.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's been a bit messy to start the game, but given that they've come out 1-1, both actually holds, I think both teams can hit the reset button and start cleaning up their offense. I was just looking through their previous round, both coming off losses, but the Stingrays, who were down 8-2 at half against LMU, even though it was a short second half, they actually traded out at the end of the game. So maybe it's a sense of finding your feet, getting into the tournament, and just working your way into it.
Oh gosh, not sure if that's picking up on the stream, but we're very near to Heathrow Airport here, and we've got some like military flyovers happening for some reason. So apologies if you're hearing some background disturbance.
But out on pitch, we're coming out of the horizontal set. It looks like. Spice moving out quite nicely, looking to center the disc. Great turn from the Stingrays. See if they can. It's a nice slow start, getting into their offensive setup. Oh, the wind is definitely making the disc balloon. Lovely D from Gibson there. Smog knocking on the doorstep, and a goal.
Symington able to get the assist after trying to pass. I think it was an offhand throw that got Deeds. Just came out a little bit janky, a little bit shaky. But yeah, Spice able to maximise the disruption that this gust is causing. That pass, trying to go round the back, trying to sit out for the handler, but unfortunately just picks up. You see that it just immediately picks up in the wind. And Gibson is, loves to eat those for breakfast. Quickly over to Symington, and they keep the flow straight into the end zone. That's a really lovely flowing score from Spice, and a way to maximise that opportunity.
When the camera pans out, you can see a wind turbine in the background, far right. There's absolutely going for it. Just if you want to judge how breezy it is here, anything from that far sideline towards us, if you show the bottom of the disc to that wind, it's going to pick up.
Yeah. And as I said, they will have played on pitches in their previous games that were much more upwind, downwind. They're sort of facing in the opposite direction, 90 degrees to this one. And so this does create a new challenge. You know, there is a high side and a low side. There's a side that's a nightmare to throw into. So they're sort of, you know, able to, any discs that come up towards this camera side that we're on, where the commentary booth is, are much more likely to sit up, and the defense can really exploit those.
Stingrays coming out of what looks a bit like a split stack. 2 on one side, 3 on the other. The long disc goes up. Good position. Oh, unlucky on the catch. Good positioning. Had the Spice player behind her and the disc in front, so excellent, and just didn't bring it down. But let's see if they can get a quick turn on the end zone again. FlikUlti looking at an H stack. The disc's turned.
Oh, it's like a prophecy. There you go, there's your turn.
Yeah.
Good pressure from the Stingray defense.
This is something that the Stingrays will have drilled at trainings, irrespective of whether it's sort of a fairly new setup coming together or a club, but in this case, the national team, you look at your end zone structures and you train and train and train. So let's see if they can just clinically put one in from 3 meters out. Or unlucky on the disc just pushing down with the wind, but the structure was lovely, isolating at the front of the stack.
Yeah, the shapes were there, using the space well, changing the attacking area, really nice, but unlucky not to execute that.
Spice finding it hard to see an open player at the moment. Stingrays doing an excellent job of staying touch tight. Another turnover. Nice quick one, well shut off by that up the line defender. And it is just a case of the conditions getting the better of these short throws.
Hannah Shears picking that disc up, trying to get it moving quickly, but ultimately throws just behind the cut. I think the cut was on, there was space, but again, this execution in these conditions, you've really got to focus in. You've got to be sure of every single option.
Lovely centering pass, but there. Oh, I'm surprised there wasn't a stoppage. There were two players colliding in the middle of the pitch just then, hence the turnover. It's a bit unfortunate because the offensive player, the Spice player, who could have got a backup on that disc, was actually on the ground when the throw went up. But fair play to just say no, it didn't affect me in the moment and play on. And the Stingrays really convert. We're now effectively 2 holds apiece, 2-2.
Yeah, we see again that wayward disc, and these two just having had a quick chat at the moment before, as you said, a little bit of contact, but no call made. But great heads-up awareness to just pop round, and then an excellent backup. Number 28, Olivia Hanrahan. Good field awareness. Also, obviously, just making a nice cut into space. So nice that this sort of Stingrays have those different options, and you're well in position for either for that throw to go up and you to back it up, or if that throw doesn't go, then you're at the back of the end zone and you're ready to get into the stack and make sure there's like a nice tight setup for your next look, had that not gone. So yeah, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Stingrays so far. It feels like their structure's good. They're kind of committing to that person-to-person defense and putting a lot of pressure on. They're getting underneath a lot of these wayward discs, but at the moment where they're kind of creating more challenge for themselves is in the execution, and disgusts are challenging. It's definitely just a thrower's wind plus some.
Yeah, it's definitely picking up as well. We're in a gazebo here and it's actually rattling. So yeah, much better prefer to be here than out on the pitch. Spice with the disc in the middle of the pitch. They've got a lovely undercut, really making ground and got the defenders flowing behind them. An unfortunate turnover there, but they had the Stingrays on the back foot. There's an open player on the far side. If I was Spice, I'd be pushing the Stingrays to throw it to that sideline. So not a bad position not a bad position there from Spice whatsoever.
Just through the hands of Bucks there, unfortunately. Again, the option was good, the spacing was good. It's just a little bit of focus.
Hard to gain the confidence on a centering throw when it is literally straight into the wind, but a lovely down the line, and then a hut. Ooh, just off the fingertips. Great diving catch there. That would have been one for the highlight reel. Let's see.
Zhang putting in effort. Not to be today, but really great athletic bid.
This is almost the definition of coffin corner here for the Stingrays, right on the downwind end zone cone, facing almost straight up into the wind if you're trying to get it into the middle of the pitch. A foot block, I think, there from Gibson. Definitely came out with an innie backhand, centering the pass. Lovely start to an end zone set. Gets it to the hander on the far side, up the line. Oh, and again, that's not a structural issue at all. That is just the wind pushing the disc down.
Yeah, monster effort from Gibson.
Disc moving up the far sideline. I think we're going to see very little play in this half of the pitch. Potential adjustment, if they can, is just to get the disc. Oh, lovely end zone. I had myself clapping there. Lovely little dish to the end zone from Gibson. I think they deserved that after what was 2 or 3 really good offensive possessions within that point.
Yeah, I think Arwin Zhang getting the score eventually. Gibson and Zhang, both with those big bids, both went empty-handed. It was only fitting that they were in the end the two that secured it for Spice.
Rachel, how well do you know this Stingrays season? Is it under 24s in a few weeks' time? So they've got a humongous squad here, and you can tell every time they go up to the line, they've obviously got a team ethos that if you're not playing that next point, you are there to listen to the defense and listen to the offense, whatever's being called, and that is a mental, emotional thing to be there, be supported, and then when you go onto the sideline, know what's going on. But I am surprised that a team from Australia, if they aren't just walking straight into under-24s, has got so many players here. So I imagine.
Yeah, they are. They're going to be heading off to Spain for the Under-24 World Championships starting on June 21st.
Perfect. So
I
this
think
would
they can
be
make a nice little Euro trip.
Yeah, you've got a week warm up, and then hopefully, I imagine, a friendly or two Wednesday, Thursday. That'd be excellent.
Yeah, and these time zone differences are no joke, so it's great that they're able to come in, get some reps in, get that practice as a team, and acclimatise.
Yeah, you wouldn't imagine that they've been in Europe for more than a day or two. A lovely big hut comes up, really in stride for number 24, and a little dish into the end zone, really well followed up by her teammate, and that's what we want to see. That is the cleanest point we've had all game. Let's hope we get more of that.
Yeah, Hannah Shears has been a name we've said multiple times now, definitely a kind of a key receiver for this side, and receives that well. That was nicely put out, as you said, just into space so that she could run onto it, and then a really well executed pop to Jenna Kim, in the end zone. Nice and clinical from Stingrays, just playing their structures. Beautiful long disc, just the right amount of weight, and that cut's been set up so well by Shears.
Shears also one of the big defenders in the previous game. I was just looking through the stats of their game against LMU this morning, and there is a point where it is just Shears and Bevan from LMU trading blocks, 2 apiece in the same point. I can't remember who came up with the point in the end.
Yeah, I love those sorts of battles. I mean, you get a really good matchup, and you sort of match up against each other throughout the game, and you just sort of get it's always like really kind of, in good spirits, but you sort of just start trying to figure each other out and get in each other's heads. Love to see it, and I'm sure that would have been a great matchup with Sophie Bevan on LMU.
So we're at 4 apiece. 3 apiece, apologies. This coming up to the high wind sideline, stays in the pitch. So this is an excellent opportunity from Spice. Short field, it's still gusty, but short field and very easy to centre it downwind. Stingrays have come out with a bit of a poachy zone, chase and 2 in the cup. And then you can see downfield they've got a bit of a diamond, a mid, 2 wings and a deep. So now it's all about composure for Spice. They're moving it really, really well. Don't want them to get stuck too long on that downwind sideline, but they move it up the line really nicely. Stingrays potentially falling down. They've fallen into a match setup now. Lovely little catch and throw there from Gibson. Spice putting in a delightful hold. So the exact opposite of the Stingray point we saw the last time. Stingrays doing it in a deep shot and a little pop. Spice really clinically working it around that zone all the way to the end zone. Yeah,
and that Gibson-Symington combo is real dynamite. They've played together for season after season now, have great chemistry, and Symington making such a great grab there. We can see the pop over to Gibson, back again, just hanging out together, and then here, great grab.
It's almost a throw in motion, isn't it? You doesn't even get her foot down to pivot. It is a well-practiced mid-movement little poppy backhand, but it gets around the defender. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I've played against these two when they're really in stride, and I can tell you it is an absolute nightmare. They really understand like the space and how each other want to move. They understand, how to keep their momentum going and where to maximize the opportunities. And as a defender, you're just, to say you're on the back foot is an understatement. You're often kind of several feet away. But yeah, it's a real kind of dynamite combination. And of course, Heather Gibson being such a kind of a central and a linchpin handler for the Spice side, can really kind of steward the play and has connections with so many of the different Spice players, including her sister, Kate Gibson, who's returned to Spice this season after a brief dalliance with the mixed division, has now come home to play with back on Spice with her sister, and the rest of these wonderful players.
Very similar to the last point from Spice, we've now got 6 Stingrays with sort of a 2/3 field, starting on the upwind sideline. Spice have also come out with a zone. They've almost got 4 across. It looks quite arrowheady, almost. Almost a pop and good catch on the secondary effort. Stingrays with 3 handlers back and one player popping. Lovely. They've managed to get it off that downwind sideline, and just if they keep that fluid motion going, I think we'll be working it most of the way down the pitch. Spice touch tight in the downfield. It looks more like match marking down there, so maybe this is more of a sort of reverse FSU pass. Oh, great work. They're with it in the red zone now. Spice switching to match, but there is still a one-person. Yeah, lovely. The handler marks from Spice were doing an excellent job of stifling play, and it's worked.
Yeah, really nice movement. Theo Osmond and Bronte Sleeth really going every other on that, moving around through that cup under lots of pressure from Spice, finding that inside shot, but just falling shy in the red zone. Giving it back to Spice, but they've got the whole field to go, and let's see.
Well, slightly over exit there on the downwind side, and Stingrays are off to the races immediately. Got a quick start. Great work on the handler defense there to make them force them to push it upfield. Stingrays on the upwind sideline now, and this is where we're into clutch territory. Lovely. Finds the break, puts it in. We are still 4 holds apiece. Trading.
Really great stewardship of the pace of play by Theo Osmond. Lots of quick movement from the Stingrays, which was really effective against that Spice zone. Despite how repressive it was, they were finding those little small movements, and Osmond was really integral in that. But then as they swing out to this near sideline ahead of the score, just taking that moment, taking that breath, not allowing the speed of play and the flow that they were in to over-egg the next option, to rush it. And you can see here, putting in those fakes, waiting until the right thing comes up, and then executing with certainty to secure that score. And that was a really well-timed cut from Olivia Hanrahan to receive that one in the end zone.
It's interesting what you were saying earlier about Gibson and Symington and that connection they've got. It's probably a good defensive puzzle for the Stingrays coaches to sort of work their way through, because if you've got 2 players on the opposition who are that dominant, you've got to almost overpower them, and then you leave deficiencies elsewhere in their defense. And then on the flip side, Spice then have to look through the other 5 players on their roster, find those holes, and that's kind of the gameplay we're seeing. They started out with both teams coming out on match, and now we've had a couple of points of zone where both teams have actually been able to work through it quite comfortably. So let's see what the adjustment is now. We've actually seen more pulls with a bit of cautiousness, and I actually prefer that in the pitch, still getting close to the brick mark. It would be very easy to loft a throw out the sideline here on the pull, so preference for keeping play moving rather than starting on the brick. Heather Gibson almost being allowed an upwind throw here to this far sideline. Again, Gibson to Symington on the disc. We've got a fairly horizontal setup. Gibson on the far side, and just slightly above her receiver, Stingrays with a chance again for the first break.
Yeah, Sophie Matt's not able to get up and secure that one. The flow is looking good. Spice kind of moving it up this sideline and then changing the area of attack, moving it down to that far side, but that one just pops over. But back on their stifling defense now.
Yeah, good collection. That disc was thinking about lifting up. Yeah, lovely movement out the front of the stack there to get free of the defender. We've got Stingrays on the far side, moving it towards the upwind side. Really nice dump and swing move there. Goes for the inside flick. Oh, it's still there for the cap. It's unfortunate. Spice with a chance to get it back.
Yeah, the slightly wayward disc. It looked like a play could be made, but the distances were just a bit too far to cover.
There was a definite nod between the 2 Gibson sisters there. They will know exactly what the other's wanting in this, just because they've played together for so many years. They get it down to Arwen on the far sideline. Really nice move from Symington and catch. Spice staying in really good isolated space, and just again a slight overthrow on the far sideline.
I think maybe a little trip. I'm not sure. Sometimes it can be a bit tough. Our lines on this field are tape, and I wonder if Kit Gibson just tripped over the tape a little bit there. There was definitely a kind of a stumble.
Yeah, completely agree. Now it's going to sit up, see if there's a Callahan. Yeah, Callahan for Spice. Really good awareness off there. I think she might have been on the force, Gibson. Caitlin Simon doing a really good job on the reset defender and stopping an easy reset meant that it ballooned up in the air. 2 Spice players underneath it. Really good awareness for both of them.
Yeah, very tricky area to bring the disc in. We call it coffin corner because yeah, it's where discs go to die, I guess. You can see here they're really trying to run through the systems, but that slight hesitance and it's a tricky angle. The throw is directly into the wind in that area, and it's just going to sit straight up.
Yeah, really good work there from Gibson to actually, it's very easy to get flat-footed once you've just had the disc go past you. So immediately, in a split second, she's 1 step, 2 step. Thank you very much. Goal.
Yeah, and I guess awareness. As we said, it's a strategic change that you can use to your advantage when teams are having to. That's their reset, is looking directly into the wind. So knowing that as soon as that disc goes up, there's a really high chance that you're going to have a play on it, or at least contribute to having someone on your team having a play on it. Is really great awareness and shows that kind of understanding of the dynamics of the game.
So despite having quite a messy game, definitely conditions led, we are at 9 holds to this point. It's going to be quite, well, 1 break in this half would be really, really, really useful. I think that's a bit of an understatement. But when we switch at half, having 1 break in the bank and then coming out on offense, for instance, would be a massive boon. Yeah, exactly as we were saying before the last point, where we had 3 or 4 pools that were quite low, not that long, but all in the pitch. And then we have 1 that just lifts, I don't know, 10 feet in the air and immediately blows out the far sideline. It is properly breezy here.
Yeah, I guess the flip side of that is the brick mark is deeper than a lot of the pools we were seeing. So although the defense does get a chance to get set up, they perhaps do have, by using the wind, have a few extra yards that they need to travel.
Yeah, and to be fair, you can then set up what you were, whatever structure you had in mind. So yeah, agreed. Can pay its dividends. Or just the player on the outside of the cup there, having a Stingray player come through her hand. That does look a little bit sore.
More, I think, just getting clipped. And yeah, looks a bit sore.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's just a little bit of ice is needed to take the edge away from that. Hopefully that's a minor
hopefully
incident.
just a stinger, because immediately she looked in pain.
What stinger of caught the ray. That's what you get.
Unintentional. It's getting spicy out there.
Oh.
Yeah, I tried hard.
A little bit of discussion, just clarifying. There's no foul call.
And I think that's the right decision. Incidental contact does happen. We play a non-contact sport, but there are 14 people running around.
I think there was a little bit of confusion there. Gibson came on to replace the player, got a bit mixed up, went to go off, and then realised that actually they're in. Almost
an assassin there from Gibson. They've got a 3-person up front cup, and Heather Gibson just seems to be picking up the nearest handler. I really like the look of this defensive set, especially, as I say, very windy. So if you can take out the nearest closest option, lovely from Spice. And that's exactly what they did. They stifled it for 4 or 5 passes, and immediately Stingrays were trying to go around the cup, and there's someone in the way.
Sleeth looked like they were standing in loads of space, but actually that's what Spice wanted them to think.
Let's see how Gibson does without her O-line compatriots. Really nice look, slight overthrow. Stingrays now having to do it all the way from their own end zone.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that option. I feel like that felt like it was being a bit forced. Jenny Kim in great position there. If it hadn't been an overthrow, I think that was a very high probability of a D. Kim playing great defense, really well positioned. I'm not sure what the stall count was. Spice normally looking to reset and not trying to force that in, so I don't know if that might have just...
I get the feeling it was relatively high. Probably 5 or 6 seconds in real time, maybe stall 8, you know. Stingrays with some composure, centering the disc. Ooh, I think that might have been down, but still, yes, there has been a call.
Half the field has stopped, so even though...
Yeah, there's been a down call up near the far end zone.
Always a bit of confusion when the downfield hasn't heard that there's a call. Bit of discussion here.
It is one of those ones where if you're the person catching the disc, you could have still got your hands under the edge, but for the other side to have been scraping on the ground. So even if your perspective is that it's definitely a catch, someone with good parallax from the side angle may have been able to see it down, but we'll see. Turnover called, yeah, and agreed.
Oh, it was a tight one. I think it was a great effort. Great to get the hands down there. Unlucky that on this occasion.
Oh no, they've called it a turnover downfield. So they've effectively said, "Oh, this wasn't down, but you threw it and didn't catch it."
Oh, okay.
And the Stingrays get it right back, and they have actually been pretty good on the fast turn. I'd love to see this matchup in better conditions, because I think the Stingrays have a really good fast break. Lovely grab here on this sideline from number 28. Stingrays moving. Oh, actually, just getting a little bit stuck on the handler set. Good flow and growth. Centering the pass. They actually do have a centering pass if they need it. A little zipper at knee height. Unfortunately, Shears couldn't quite bring that one in. Really nice underthrow from Taylor there. Oh, and it's gone over the Stingray defender, Shears. I think this might be turning out into the longest point so far. If the Stingrays manage to walk this in, it still holds, but it's turning into a bit of a mammoth point. Spice putting on that same zone from before. I'm still yet to work it out, but it looks like it's 4 players around the front, working in concert with each other. And Gibson's position is to almost take the nearest dump defender. And Stingray's doing really well to unlock that with a nice middle throw. There's a ballooning one up in the air. Shears with the position, but it's conditions. The wind's pushed it straight over her head. Taylor with the disc immediately, and unfortunately just calibrated a little bit to the left.
When you're this deep into a point, I think you can get quite trigger happy and quite sort of gung-ho with the options because you just want it to be over, but it's so tough because really, if you're not sure and you're not nailing what you're doing, then you're actually kind of prolonging your experience. You've got lots of tired receivers, tired throwers. You need to be making sure.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised that Spice have come out with the same zone look, because it has come up with 3 or 4 turns already. Just as that disc got picked up on this sideline, we had the Aussie coaches saying it's potential to take a timeout, but not needed. The Stingrays go and punch it in.
Massive take from Shears on that end zone line. Such a great job to come down with it, really kind of decisively snatching that out of the air and then passing that over to Emma Spears, who'd followed them in, giving them a nice end zone option. Great work from the Stingrays. As you say, it's just a hold. In the grand scheme, people are looking for breaks. But if you want to be winning the game, you've got to make sure your O-line is putting it away. And after some turbulence in the middle section, Stingrays do just that.
It's not actually the slowest game either. We're only 35 minutes in and we've had 10 points. So both teams really quite aggressively, despite coming up against zones for the last 4 or 5 points, both teams quite aggressively trying to attack the end zone. You could very easily see this sort of game peter into a low-scoring affair, but hasn't been the case, and I'm quite glad.
And we're still seeing so much energy on field. I think that it's the focus that's really kind of maybe been lacking in moments where people sort of decided to just try and launch one deep and try and kind of see the point out quickly, and actually you need to dial in the focus. But actually every single time we've then gone on to D, you've seen both sides really digging deep, and they're still there and they're keeping that pressure high. They're not slacking at all. So the energy is there, the legs are there, but it's just keeping your brains totally geared in and trying to make sure that you're not, by way of trying to rush it through, accidentally prolonging the point, which is exactly the opposite of what you're trying to achieve. But that is much more about mentality than it is about just trying harder with your body.
Do you know who called that timeout, or is that like a 35-minute half? Because both teams in a similar mental state, I think. Both teams knowing that when their offense is clicking, they can put it in, and both getting turns on their defense. So I'm not actually sure whether that was a timeout just to get a breather, reset with 3 points to go to half, or whether that was a half time.
I imagine it would be a timeout, although I didn't see who called it, because these are 70-minute games. I think the kind of time cap for half wouldn't have gone yet. So I think that must have been called on field. We didn't see the hand signals. We're not sure where the call originated from. But both sides just taking a second. I think after a long point, it's great to have a moment to work out. Yeah, work things out, have a quick chat, see where you need to adjust, and then come back out firing with some fresh legs. Well,
it'd be interesting to see whether Spice just take this from the sideline, because it is about halfway. Pretty sure it landed just out of bounds. Yeah, they've gone for the shorter field, but definitely the harder position laterally on the field. Stingrays coming out on match immediately. Really good. Sometimes all it needs is just a little pop off the first throw to get it. Even 2 meters close to the center of the field helps. Lovely. Just working it through 3 players. The other Gibson to Symington this time. But yeah, tried and tested. It works.
Yeah, really nice. And I think the team are aware of what needs to be done in that instance. The stack was quite deep. The cutters were keeping their marks engaged, but they weren't clogging up the space. They really just left the field for Zhang, Symington, and the other Gibson, as you said, to work with it. And what a great combination! Like really strong handler set, and amazing that you can kind of have strength across your lines. You've got just so much power behind the disc across the Spice lines. They've got a great handlers to choose from. Gibson, of course, back with this Spice team, as we said. Last season was competing with Deep Space and secured a gold medal at Euros. So a nice accolade to return back to Spice with, which is who she was previously playing with, and I'm sure, very happy to have her back.
Yeah, and I think Spice is their first year effectively being located in London, previously a Midlands-based team, but I think just post-university and where some of the core unit of the team gravitated to, it made sense for the team to sort of be officially based further south. But really there to try and contend with the likes of Iceni and Bristol. And we are actually quite deep into the season now. We're probably halfway through, so this is a good sense check on the way to regionals and that. Stingrays coming out of a fairly split stack. They like a nice isolated cut to start, but then you've got very much 2 on one side, 3 on the other. It's tried and tested pull play. It's an unfortunate one into the middle. There was actually a lot of space there in the structure. Just a misexecution on the throw and catch. Spice player thought that might have been thrown to someone else, and then had to sort of scramble for the backup. Stingrays looks like off the turn coming out of a vert stack, and and we get the turn straight back. Okay, 4 quick turns. Someone needs to just take a little breather, let someone who's a long way away from the disc pick it up. Yeah, we're back in with that vert stack. Lovely from Shears just to see that her defender was 2 or 3 meters deep, so she can't get it. Disc on the upwind sideline. Very much, oh, lovely around throw, but Trevino there.
Osmond's really directing traffic. See her waving her hands where she wants the disc to go.
I wouldn't be surprised if in Karma climbs that throw's going. Apologies, number 21, Lynch. I've definitely seen her throw some flick hucks in, like with a streaking defender, a streaking offensive player even previously, but worth holstering. Stingrays with their, I want to say, 4th possession of the point. Lovely inside flick, but well, just too high for the cutter. I wouldn't be surprised if we see if this continues for 2 more.
Oh gosh, that is brutal.
I was going to say I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a timeout. I think
great awareness, but a tough hit to take.
Yeah, that one's going to sting.
I think everyone just checking in.
I actually thought that had hit the defender who was running through. So if anything, I'm glad that hit the person's hand.
Yeah, no, I think the Osmond read that play and sacrificed her physical well-being in the effort to get a D.
I heard a slap, and I don't know whether that was something in my headphones or the disc just hitting skin.
I think it's clean. I think it's now just you know, who's come off worse, the disc or the player.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to be okay.
Good, shaking it off.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think anyone's actually. I think they're all saying the same thing and agreeing. It was a turnover.
Yeah, this is just a moment to check in with the player. Great spirit from Spice to just allow a moment to make sure Osmond's all right.
Yeah,
so
great work from Lynch to put the pressure on there. Stingrays still in their red zone set. Lovely line cut from the see if she can get some bookends. Stall out called on Hanrahan. Quick discussion just to make sure. She thinks she was, you know, had released the disc before the T of 10. Lynch pretty sure it's not the case.
It's always so difficult. It feels like there's like a time warp on the field. It never really feels like it could possibly have been 10 seconds in the booth. But you know, if you're standing there and you're counting to 10 and and you get there, then and nothing's been said, you haven't called fast count, then that's the stall. So resolved on field, declined, no call, decided, retracted call. That's the correct word. Thank you.
And now Stingrays have it in a really good position right on the end zone line. Yeah, clutch throw. I really like the option of just keeping with the high wind side, had a player streaking up the line. So there we have it, 6-6.
Thea Osmond, I just want to take a moment to just appreciate her play. I mean, this Stingray side, there's so many great players across the roster, but I really think Thea Osmond is like, you can really see her as a leader out there on the field. She's speaking to her teammates, she's directing traffic, she's thrown some really interesting things. They haven't always come off, but of course, you know, they're trying to dial in, and we can see there that pass, like, beautifully weighted, that sat right out. Hannah Shears, who's another name that we're saying time and time again because she's really stuck in the middle of the action and making great plays. Like, that combination works so well, and I think someone like Thea Osmond, who's really controlling the play and you know, dictating and communicating with her team about where they need to be attacking. I think it's such an asset, and is going to be so important to them as they continue on to the World Championships in Spain in just 1 week's time.
Yeah, and Thea Osmond seemed like she's shaken off that incredible hand block with ease. Just needed 10 seconds to make sure, have I still got my hand there? Yeah, straight back in. Judging by the rules, I just had a quick look up. There is no time half. It's just half at 8. We should definitely get there, given that it's a 70-minute game, 15 at least. Spice centering the disc, come out of a horizontal set. If Symington actually free on the undercut, but there was the dump defender was definitely in the throwing lane. Now he's got space on the side. Oh, the wind really picking that up. Great work from Heather Gibson Gibson to get the secondary effort. Number 30 from the Stingrays, McKay, doing an excellent job stifling the reset there. Not sure what the call is.
A violation has been called. I wonder if there was a fast count. Yeah.
I think you're right.
A violation called. So if she called, Gibson called fast count, the stall has to drop by 2, and I think maybe that didn't happen, so it comes back in on 0.
Yeah, lovely give go. Got Zhang this side and got a lead pass up. Yeah, perfect. Spice actually moving the disc really well. Just keeping it on the high side. Now with 5 meters to go, see if this same method can keep it going. Gibson to Gibson, knocking on the door. Symington with his flash cut. Oh! And that's the classic squirrel, make the defender commit to something, the open side, take the break side, shuffle backwards, but the wind just pushing the throw downwards.
Yeah, of course, throwing into the wind, really challenging it, lifts it up, but throwing downwind pushes it right down, and Gibson not able to get enough loft on that. Nice movements, but execution wasn't there. Stingrays now with an opportunity to break.
Nice high grab. Goes for a shot. Haven't seen many shots since. Oh, and then it's collected by Robinson from Spice. Has got space to swing it up. Really good composure just to cut it through the wind there. Stingrays shutting off the lane on the immediate underthrow, but Gibson still manages to get it to Symington on this line. Little lead pass, she's got time, and that's a goal.
Yeah, decisive answer from Spice, getting that disc back and putting it in. It really felt like that offense was flowing in a way at that point that we haven't really seen so far this game. They've looked strong, but that looked like Spice on form. They were finding each other, they were moving the disc confidently, the kind of handler set and cutters working well together. Really nice. We see Gibson getting really low for that one, and Symington putting her body in the way, making sure that she's got the best play on that disc.
What would you do if you're in this position, if you're Spice? You know, it's 7-6, you've traded out to this point, half at 8. Do you put on a fairly standard D-line, or do you start stacking it with the likes of Symington, Gibson? What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, it's tough because I think it depends on how those players are feeling. Taking half is huge. Like, it's really, to get a break and go into half is such a huge momentum shift for your team, and obviously strategically, just puts you in such a fantastic position. If they had the legs, I think this would be a great time to call the power line and close out the half. But different teams approach these things in different ways, and I think when you've got teams like, you know, Spice, who really have so much depth on their roster, and I think are trying to, they've been building for several seasons. It feels like this season things are really coming together for them, and they're trying to make sure that, you know, their whole roster feels valued and appreciated. Sometimes the most strategic thing you can do for your team, kind of in the long run, is to trust and play the systems. So we do know that there's some players who, if they were to call a power line, you know, the Gibson sisters, Symington, we've already, there's certain people whose names we've said time and time again, Zhang as well, on as a handler. But, you know, it just depends on the different mentalities of teams, and I think there is a lot to be said for making sure that you're building that whole team mentality and that trust that can be really valuable.
It's not like the defense haven't been getting turns, is it?
Yeah.
Multiple every single point.
Yeah, the trust is there, the defense know they've got a job to do.
Yeah.
Let's see if they can.
Well, nice pull chase to get us started. Stingrays, again, coming out of a fairly isolated stack. They really push their other offensive players downfield to open up the space for whoever's cutting under. Really good find in the middle there. I could see that the handler had eyes on that player for quite a few seconds and was just waiting for the cup to open up. gets the disc back with a lovely low grab. Spice coming out of that that junky messing up zone at the front, but have switched to match. Oh, really,
a bit of friendly fire, I think, disrupting that catch.
Yeah, quite a messy end zone. I thought she'd come down with it, but no, 4 people in the way.
Yeah, that Spice Cup looking fierce. That was right on the sideline in front of us. Kim with the disc. Really stifling, great find in the middle of the field, but Stingray unable to put it in. Now Spice looking to break to take half.
Yeah, I might have to go back and watch a couple of Spice games to suss that zone out, because actually it's been working incredibly well here against Stingray's team that are still confident on throw. Stingray's getting a lovely block on the under there, not having to leave her feet, but she was on the shoulder of the cutter. I think that's Osmond again, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Dictating on offense and on defense.
Nice grab, keeping it safe. Spice in match off the turn. We've got a vert stack from the Stingrays, just pushing it out that downwind sideline.
Yeah, just popped up ever so slightly. Shears, who's been a really safe receiver, but not able to grab that one.
Okay, cuffing corner for probably the 15th time today. Spice managing to reset the stall, but we're still right down there. Let's see if they can, yeah, lovely cross pitch, and a good read from Hannah Shears. Execution, unfortunately, just lifting that over the player. You can tell Hammerhand a little bit annoyed with herself on that. But they've got it right down on the opposition end zone line and time to set up. Obviously coming out of match defense, Spice with a horizontal set. Lovely slash to get us started. Flow not quite there on the continuation, and Stingrays immediately going into the end zone. There we have it, 7-7. What do they call it these days going into half?
Oh, great question.
Something Galaxy point.
Yeah, not sure. I tried to steer somewhat away from.
Yeah, okay. we'll just call it 7-all.
Yeah,
half 8.
Yeah.
Yeah. Despite the number of turnovers, it has actually been a really exciting game. Both teams really trying to force their offense on the opposition, not letting the defense dictate. You know, even though the Spice zone has been really, really good, the Stingrays are still working their way around it, and it's just that final element. But I guess that's the purpose of the zone. And then when we see those long shots, most of them are with the right positioning in mind. It's just the conditions aren't really helping out.
Yeah, a little bit of an intention question. Yeah, I agree. I think the one of the reasons though that the zone is being so effective is that at the moment it keeps feeling like the Stingrays are slightly surprised to see it again. They've had sort of 2 handlers back facing down this cup, and actually they've done an amazing job of finding some of those shots through the middle or over the top into the middle, as we saw in that last point from Kim, finding teammates wherever they lie on the field. But if you know that the zone's going to come, I think most teams would usually bring back 3, if not 4 handlers,
yeah,
just to make sure that you don't get caught out and that you always have at least sort of someone you can hit, whether it's just going directly backwards, just keeping the disc moving and managing to then like change the area of attack. So yeah, it's a little bit interesting to see if they're going to make any of those adjustments. But as we said, they've been finding their way around, but it is a really effective zone from Spice, and it's something that they've been honing in on over the seasons. And yeah, just turning the pressure on.
Just trying to work out on their numbers who number 1. It may be that they've all got the number 138 on their arm, so maybe that's some tribute to a friend. Stingrays getting fired up for this game, for this point before half. Wouldn't be surprised if this was their timeout, and they're just switch it on mentally. There's a time to flex. Hopefully this is it. Spice looking the more relaxed of the two teams. They've got 7 on, and it's a tried and tested 7. Both Gibson sisters, Symington, Robinson, Simon, Zhang, and number 24. Apologies, Mance. I think the puller's waiting a little bit for the wind to die down, but if anything, it's picking up. Okay, here we go from this upwind sideline. Lovely pull, best pull of the game so far. Drifting down towards that sideways line, but wasn't elevated enough to really catch the wind. Spice had isolated a lot of space in the underside, and now with sort of 5-6 seconds gone, a bit of a balloon shot, Gibson to Gibson. Stingrays really going to have to work it up out of this corner now. This is a moment for clean, efficient reset handling. If they can get the first or second pass closer to the middle, and then they've got both sides to work with, but this is going to be a tough ask. If I'm honest, I'm surprised Spice don't come out with their zone right off the bat. It looks like they're going match.
Yeah, well, I think they know where they need to defend, and you can see right there we've got the force on, but oftentimes you clamp around the stack and they're not even bothering because they know if it just goes up in this direction, there's going to be plenty of opportunity. Yeah,
and exactly, if Joro turns around now, unlucky on the catch.
Yeah, that was the dangerous area. I think Spice set up for that really well.
Okay, here we go. Tried and tested 7 from Spice here. This is the 7 you'd want to just, you've got complete trust, put in the point. Lovely backup from Symington in the middle there. Just past the Stingray brick. Gibson marshalling that one in. Pump fakes Robinson on the slash across. Drops back, and unfortunately the gust just pulls it straight past that sideline.
Yeah, you can see the hands in the air gesturing to say, like, I'm here and I'm available, but that's got to be the hard. I mean, that sort of looping forehand into that corner has to be the hardest throw on the field right now. That's just going to get every single tiny ounce of wind behind it and sail, even if you put all the touch in the world. So I think that's a questionable decision from Gibson. I think there was a bit of frustration that maybe she wasn't seeing what she thought should be coming on the other side of the field.
And probably quite a high stall count. Stingrays trying the same thing again, moving it down that downwind sideline. Vert stack, still a little bit messy. Wonderful, now trying to get it onto this far sideline. And now they've got much more space to work with.
Oh, that was well taken by McKay, but then maybe just a bit of frustration again, not to see what she wanted downfield. It was a bit too much on that throw. Not really certain there was a connection with any of her cutters. No one seemed to be expecting it.
Really nice centering pass from Spice there. Going Gibson, Symington, Gibson again. I sound like a broken record, but here we go. Wonderful. Tried and tested. A really good movement between those front three, keeping and the rest of the offensive players keeping space.
Yeah, really nice way for Spice to take half and kind of just keep their standard. You know, we've seen some messy points, but really great effort from them. And Marina Symington, I mean, just absolutely having a stormer, really there to back up her teammates, there to get involved in the play, great downfield, great in that hand of space. We see that Gibson connection, and then that pop to Symington. Doesn't need to try to do anything too fancy, just make sure, be certain, and work hard. And Spice reap the benefits, so that is half time here. Spice 8, Stingray 7. Still a very tight game. This looks to be a really good even match.
Yeah, definitely, and because it has been effectively trading, the halftime doesn't actually matter that much. They're going to come out in the other direction. Spice on defense, which is exactly where they would have been had there been, had there not been a half.
So the players on the field are taking a moment at half. In the booth, we're also going to take a moment, but don't go anywhere because the second half of this game will be coming very shortly, and we'll be back with you.
See you then.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Oh my goodness. That is unbelievable. And traded to Stef and made for it.
That was absolutely incredible.
I'm Stef Pazzo, and I must eat.
Sometimes commentator, sometimes food eater.
On my Ultimate travels in 2023, I sampled culinary classics from all across Europe,
Oh, wow.
guided by some of your favorite Ultimate players.
That's the Dutch hospitality for you right there.
I'll give you an insight into the secret spots that only the locals know of.
Are these the best schnitzels in Vienna?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
Go find Stef Pazzo on YouTube. Like and subscribe and follow the European Ultimate Must Eat series.
Yeah, look, all of my friends going crazy. I gotta brag on myself.
Shopping Zillow and need a trusted resource for your real estate questions? Want to check on loan pre-approval? Reach out to HomeForce, an all-in-one home buying service engineered for Ultimate players, fans, and friends. The HomeForce team provides services in real estate, mortgage financing, insurance, and much more. No pressure, no commitment, just trusted advice.
What are they, spaceships from Mars? No, they're Frisbees. Watch it soar. It flies way around like a bird. You can even run for a pass. You can play all kinds of games. Isn't it amazing? Frisbee Flying Saucer. Yours at toy, drug, and department stores.
Welcome back to the second half of this women's division game here at London Invite. I'm Rachel Douglas here in the booth with Marius Hutchison, and we are privileged to bring you this game between Australia's Stingrays matching up against the UK's Spice. Stingrays, of course, here in preparation for their big debut at the U24 Championships, World Championships next week in Spain, using this as a warm-up tournament, getting dialed in, making sure their plays are tight, their bodies are ready, and Spice here as one of the UK's premier women's teams to represent, to add to their season and continue building as they approach regionals, nationals, and Euros, I think would be on the horizon for these teams. So yeah, we've had a great first half. It's been really tight so far. We're seeing Spice take the first half 8-7, but it's just been a tight trading match throughout. Marius, what do you think about the first half?
Yeah, started off quite messy, and I think the wind is really playing a part. But both teams found their feet despite the turnovers. Spice's zone really hurting the Stingray offense, but you know, as you see, 8-7, Stingrays have managed to come through it.
Yeah, it has felt really evenly matched. You know, there's sort of a pendulum swing of momentum. We've seen some lovely plays from both sides. But as you said, the conditions here are gusty. You can see the flags in the background fluttering around. That actually doesn't even really tell the truth of it. Those flags are here at sort of ground level, and we have some up higher on the hill in the background there, and you can see those are really, really spinning. So it is gusty to say the least, and both teams are finding that to be a real challenge, as much I think as the other team's defense.
I am surprised we haven't seen any scores in that left corner, because it is basically a crosswind. But here we have Stingrays coming out determined. Lovely split stack, lots of isolated space in the middle. Centering the pass to number 28. 35 with an under. Stall count getting high. Tash Taylor on the defense. Really nice throw and go from the handlers. Hanrahan seeing something downfield. Oh, a bit of a miscomm there. There's a few pit calls from the sideline, but no, I think it was just a reset, reset going up the line with the throw going back. Oh, Spice trying to capitalise there. A little bit of frustration there from Lynch.
Oh yeah, Lynch definitely made that cut deep and then seemed to stop, didn't think it was going to come. See a bit of a sort of grin on her face as she realised that is in fact in the air, and tried to recover the ground, but very, very difficult to do, particularly with this wind.
Stingrays getting off that first pass, always important. Really flirting with this sideline here, but I think that's probably an active decision to hold it on the upwind sideline. Oh, great work by the Stingray to usher it out, because Lynch was cantering down on that pass.
Kim's putting an absolute shift in these last couple of points. Really good job making sure. It does seem like maybe Spicer in a kind of a little bit of a huck and D mentality with this far end zone. They've tried to take two quite aggressive shots. See here, that one really picked up with the wind. Oh, that's great effort from Kim. That was looked from where I was standing like it was probably already out the field, but actually Lynch is closing in, and there's probably just enough space for a play to be made, but Kim's on the case.
Yeah, definitely needed. You could see Osmond, when she went to pick up that disc, turned around and was ushering her players to come under. She wanted them to start closer, and I don't think that's her trying to hit the deep space. I think it's just saying, come on, let's throw it 5 meters rather than 10. Shears with a little shimmy at the front of stack. Great work! Oh, great work from Lynch there on the D, but heads up play from Osmond to corral it in. Yeah, Hanrahan on this far sideline, centering the disc. Really nice flow there from the Stingrays. Commentator's curse, but there was a lovely dump and swing to reset the side of the field.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate that the handler was kind of trying to clear through at that time. That was for an undercut, but a little bit of traffic. You see the big one go up again. Exactly
as you said, Rachel. They are probably 4 hucks from 6 throws, something like that.
But it's effective defense, right? They're chancing on the long cut. It does seem like Lynch might get a little bit burnt out if every time the disc turns over, she's having to streak deep for it. But Stingray's back in this end zone, on their own end zone line, with the whole field to travel, and we've seen, the last few reps, that's really hard.
And, they haven't got past us in the middle, have they?
Yeah, exactly. They're managing it well, as you said. The flow is nice, but at some point there's a miscommunication or a poor execution, and Spicer getting those turns. So in terms of strategy, I think it's as legitimate as any, but as long as you're not too precious about your turnover count.
Yeah, and really tiring out one player in Rasheen Lynch. And now here we have it, slightly shorter field from Spice. Really good clamp down defense. Great hands. Middle of the field. Treviso open on the under. Oh, and the throw balloons up. See Lucy Cinnamon coming in there pretty fast for the second effort.
Yeah, threatening the first goal of the game down at this end, but not on that time. Stingrays back with the disc, back on their end zone line, back looking at the entire length of the field.
From where?
Spice, plenty of time to set up their defense.
Yeah, from where we're standing, that rugby post in the back of the end zone, probably a bit of a mental deterrent for properly going and getting that. Great work from number 7 from Spice on the defense. We're at the 70-minute marker, so Hooter's gone. We will be, unlucky from Spice. If Spice put this in, if Spice get this point, it's game over. That's the win, 9-7.
Yeah, finish the point, and if you're within 1, then we do the 1 point cap, but otherwise the game is just over, so.
Excellent work from Lynch there. Has to go find the defender. First long shot from Stingrays, and I don't hate it. It's not the most clutch, but it's definitely the most progressive part of this point from them so far.
Yeah, the throw was actually gorgeous, like really well weighted against the wind. The challenge was that there wasn't really separation for the cutter, and the timing was maybe just a little bit off, but the shape was lovely.
Massive bid there from Stingrays, really putting everything into this point. Hammerham with the deal on the net. And just a slight execution miss on. Have we got a player down over here? Is that Osmond, the team captain? Looks like she might have had her foot stood on.
Yeah, I think there's an injury call.
Yeah, definitely holding the front of her foot. Looks like she's had an unintentional stamp.
The question is how to resolve now, though. There's definitely that injury happened before the pass went, but arguably none of those people on the field were aware that there was a stoppage. So there's normally a little bit of discussion about where the disc comes, or a little bit of cramp. Someone get that girl a banana.
She seems to be smiling, but just, yeah, not comfortable for sure. I mean, that'd be a shame. I'd given how instrumental she's been in this game, I'd be putting her on ice right now and just making sure she's fully ready to go for Spain. Yeah, seems to be walking off, so hopefully just a momentary, temporary injury.
Stingrays here with a great number of sort of coaching staff. Actually, all the Australian teams, they have a really strong kind of support program, making sure that all the players are well taken care of. Every kind of aspect of their game is supported, whether it's the strategy side, the physical training side, the physiotherapy side. Really excellent.
Yeah, and I think that is applaudable. Even if you're playing an amateur sport, great to have a full setup and make you feel like you can just concentrate on playing. Spice there with a bit of an overthrow. Treviso's got really quite a jump on them, but disc sailing over the top. Stingray with a chance to pop this one in and keep the game going to Universe. Oh, unlucky with the catch from number 24, Spears. Spice trying to get it to the upwind side. Oh, a great mental catch there from Taylor. Gibson in the middle, going for the hut. Oh, Cinnamon catching it through a flailing defender on the end zone line. This is it for the game. And that's the goal. Cinnamon with what was an excellent catch before that, with the defender flying in front of her and then seeing it off with the goal.
Yeah, I feel that's a little bit of heartbreak for the Stingrays. They've been working so hard to not be able to put that one in, to get broken on the last point when they'd just committed throughout the game and had done such a good job of staying in it, staying competitive. Yeah, for that last point to be a break, I feel a bit of heartbreak for them, but really unbelievable play throughout that game. The conditions are pretty hostile, and yeah, Spice unfortunately just edging them out there, able to find their groove after what was a mammoth point. We're looking at the turnover rate. We've got a very diligent stats keeper here, and it was a kind of an unbelievable number of turnovers. But a huge effort from both teams. Good luck to the Stingrays as they go on to the rest of this tournament, of course. They've got to get through this first, but as they progress to the World Championships in Spain in a week's time. And well done, Spice, for closing out that game, that mammoth point, and taking the win. We've got all the games here this weekend at London Invite. It's hosted here at Grasshoppers Rugby Club. Don't go anywhere. We've got 45 games streaming across. Make sure you're a member if you're watching the stream. I'm sure you already are, in which case we thank you. I'm here with ULTI.TV. I'm Rachel Douglas. I'm in the booth with Marius Hutchison, and make sure you stick around to catch more of the action.
Thank you.
Thanks.
ULTI.TV.
Tell you what to do, how to make me fall for you. You should learn that on your own. I play cool, cause I hope you pick it up soon, and you know just what to do. Don't you? Boy, just be honest.